This is a very interesting fit.
Welcome back, everybody. Oh yes, this 1967 Volkswagen bus frame. It's come a long way already, and when I cut the body off of this thing, I didn't think I was going to go home with a repairable frame, but lucky me, a foundation for a new project and at no additional cost. And about that cost. Some folks seem to think that I need to spend a lot of money to start out with a good project and then dump a lot of money into it. And while there are a lot of other YouTubers out there that do exactly that, that's not what being the Duck Man is all about. I'd rather get dirty and truly create something from nothing. And as the slogan on my Patreon states, I'm creating golden riches from rusty bitches. That's the theme here on this YouTube channel, and that shall never change. I'm a real person working with a realistic budget of nothing. And unless one of these people that likes to tell me what to do puts his own money up for one of my projects, then yeah, I'll do it your way. And until then, this is not Burger King. You're just gonna have to deal with the extra onions and swallow that huge sour pickle that comes with this personality. Meanwhile, I'm chugging away, cutting and fitting and making things work. I still don't know what body's going to go on here, but the whole universal platform idea makes for a really interesting build. I'd like to make this frame accept just about anything I can stack on it, which means I could even change the body out like my underwear. You know, as soon as I'm tired making skid marks in the last one and wish for some new style. Anyway, I'm back to cutting on this frame because today I've just about got the front end fitted. So please likey, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to plug that dingle belly so you get notifications every time I upload a video. Check out duckshit.net for some of my social media links and my other YouTube channels. So thanks for watching, and we'll be back right after that intro.
Welcome back, everybody, to another exciting Lord Duckman production. This is a post-Christmas video, so for all yous that I didn't get to wish a Merry Christmas, guys. Hope you enjoyed your weekend. Anyways, we're back here on my 1967 Volkswagen bus frame, and there's a lot of noise in the background because the kids are still off of school. I can't believe how much time they get off of school nowadays. It's like 3 weeks for Christmas vacation or something ridiculous. We'd be lucky if we got, a full week plus both weekends, which gives you 9 days. Anyways, I digress. Let's stay on project here. This is my 1967 Volkswagen bus frame. You guys watched me chop it up. You know the deal. Right down in there, there's a corner that I need to finish in the last video I didn't get to. And once we got that squared up, then we're going to figure out how to fit this Beetle chassis on here. And like I said, I want this to be a universal platform that I can put just about anything on, which means I had to modify these corners. More about that in a minute. Meanwhile, let's start cutting and welding and see how much more we can get done today before it gets dark. It's a little chilly out here today. I'd say it's in the mid to high 40s. So, yeah, it's a little brisk, but I'm not dying. It's not nearly as cold as it was when it was down in the teens and the wind was blowing. That was just awful. Yeah, I'm sure it's colder where you're at, but you know what? We're here, and this is Florida, and this is not what I signed up for. Nonetheless, I run a temperature when I start working, so let's get to work on this thing. Got my wonderful metal cutting shirt on, which is why it's full of holes. Whenever I'm cutting welding, so I try to wear the same worn out ones all the time, so that's why you see the same shirts with holes in them. Anyway, let's see what we got. Here you go, guys. Watch this. And it's all lined up now for welding. Beautiful, huh? One seam instead of a million of them. Anyway, yep, that's what we're going to get into. There's always something whenever I get started. Get everything in position, and things don't want to work right. And the wires getting jammed in here. There's still some slag and shit left over in this from the last time I was welding that I forgot to clean out. Flux core is notoriously spattery. What it does is it forces a ground to the shield that's on here, and it causes the wire to weld itself to the tip. one of those flux coreisms. Duckman, why don't you use gas? It'll weld so much better. Yeah, it will. But 2 reasons. One, because people told me this wasn't possible. I love those people. And 2, because I have an abundance of it because I bought a lot of it a few years back when it was cheap. You see the prices of this stuff nowadays? Yeah, that's not bad. Needs a little touch up, but we're there. Yay. Look who came to visit. Oh, it's my boy. Oh, such a good boy. He's got his feathers back. He doesn't like this cold weather either. He's a Florida boy. He was born here. So he's not adjusted well to the cold weather, and when it's cold, he gets very aggressive. So he chases me, he bites me, and he tries to let me know that something's wrong, he needs help. And what he wants to do is just go inside. You're not freezing, buddy. You're not dying, even though your pool is still an ice ball from last night. He's grew his feathers back, too. He finally molted after almost 4 years. 4 years of the same feathers, which just look like hell. I mean, those feathers, he looked pretty bad when Skeeter was still around, and that was, geez, we lost Skeeter now 3 years ago in January. That's right, buddy. Yeah. You still had them old feathers, but finally you got new ones. Look at these wings, look. Oh my. Let me show everybody how you can fly. He doesn't crash nearly as badly as he used to. Watch this. Oh, nice. That was actually a good landing for a change. Good boy. He'll come back in a little while, and he'll attack me again. You guys will probably see it on video. Alright, this piece is through here. Now we gotta take some measurements on this thing. Other side, from here to here, right at that weld seam to the 90 degree, is 38 inches. And we are at 37.5. So this needs to go in a little bit. Let's try that. 37 3/4. Almost 38, just off by 16 or so. I might have to trim in here a little bit more. Yeah, it didn't move at all. Instead of 16, it looks more like an 1/8. Let's see how square it is. Oh, bang on the money as far as square is concerned. That's pretty damn good. Oh, well now it says 38. I must have not been pushing the tape measure in all the way. As you know, these guys, they have the little portion up here that extends, and that can affect your number if you don't push it in all the way. Yeah, it's exactly at 38 now. Alright, that's where it needs to go, right where it sits. Alright, without my welding mask on, and somebody's gonna go nuts, whoa! I'm gonna put a tack on it just so it sits and stays right where it's at. And no, I'm not looking at the spark. Some people think that whenever I don't have my mask on, I'm looking right at it. Alright, good. I should keep it in there, and then we can tack on the top on the inside right here. Alright, that's going to stop it from moving. I got a little bit of a gap in here to fill, but that's okay. Old Miggy can handle it. And you're still trying to tell me something's wrong, huh? I love you too, buddy. Well, those welds are not supposed to break. I guess I accidentally cut through the bottom one and didn't think about it. This is where this needs to be. And then we'll bend these pieces together and run a weld along just like we did before. Alright. Spread it out just a little bit because this piece I'm putting in here is actually just a little bit bigger than what was here before. And this friggin' wheel's in the way. Get frig out of the way, friggin' wheel. We got a retarded kid across the street. Got a little piece of metal in there for a filler. That way when I weld over it, it's easier to make a bridge. And I shove it in there. Got some sharp edges on it. It keeps catching my skin as I try to lift my hand out. Alright, don't need these daggles anymore. The weld helmet. Let's get this thing filled in. And of course the welder's going to act retarded. Tip is all cleaned out. Let's try again. Much better. Oh shit. That filler fell in. Damn it all. Something didn't look right. Because it didn't attach, it just collapsed. This son of a bitch. It's not even hot anymore. Alright, coming in. Yeah, we got good penetration on that. Alright, touch it up just a little bit around the edges, and then we'll hit it with the grinder. And we got to cut the top off here and get the weld filled in around there too. That gets it much better. Grinding and clean up here, and that should be good to go. Nice having this fan here. Sucks all the dust and smoke and everything away from my face. Creates just a little low pressure area right here, and boy, poor fan is filthy. Wow. When that ran in the grinder, it got covered in all kinds of shit. Alright, I gotta go over it with angle grinder, clean up all the welds, but it's about to get dark, so before we do that, let me show you what this whole plan was all about. Well, when it gets below 50 degrees, every little bump on my fingertips or fingernails hurts like the dickens. Well, this is the Beetle frame, this is the bus frame. And I'm doing this so I can settle the arguments that the haters have had, telling me, you know, I shouldn't do this, or, you know, asking me why I'm doing this, or a whole lot of other garbage about needing to something new, or, you know, just reasons why I shouldn't have or do what I'm doing. Alright, get this out of here. There it is. Now let me show you from a different angle what we got going on here, guys. Look at this. Alright. There's the Beetle frame head, going right up into the, well, I guess technically it's a frame head area of the bus chassis. And you see, it doesn't want to go in because these wings stick out. Formerly before, this angle would go down this way, and there was no way for this to get in there at all. Well, watch this. Lift this it out. I guess we could do it like that. Make sure you guys can see. Right here. There we go. Now, boys and girls, kids everywhere, welcome to the circus. Watch this. All right, here we go. Oh. you can see how badly rusted this was. That is a very interesting fit. Let me show you guys. Alright. I turned the light on here to make it a little easier to see, but as I was saying, this is a very interesting fit. I still have about, 1 3/4 to go forward, and that beam damn near goes into the front of the Beetle axle beam frame head here. I mean, it looks like it could just about go in. Now that I'm looking at this, I'm sure somebody's going to say, well, you know, Duckman, why didn't you just use a Beetle pan and bolt a bus beam to it? Well, because nobody could have told me that this was going to fit this way. And I think these tubes are a little bigger than Beetle tubes, but that doesn't mean that they won't fit into that frame head. But it does need to go forward a little bit more. Looking in the back here, you can see the torsion bars are not in alignment anymore, nor are the ends of the frame horns. So it definitely needs to go forward about that 1.5 inches, 1 3/4, 2 inches, somewhere in there. So that's what we got. The fact of the matter is now, you see what's going on. What I can do is now I can build a little flange on the frame that goes around this way. I can drill 2 holes through it, and I can run the Beetle body bolts through. Oh, look at that. And if I do something like a Carmen Ghia, well, those 2 bolts will be out here somewhere. And no, the wheel should clear them just fine, so I'll be right about there. Same goes with the Type 3. There'll be plenty of room up front for that. Gee, just looking at this, this makes me all excited for this project all over again. There it is. Things are starting to fit together in ways that they were never intended, but oddly enough, they fit so closely, it's almost like it was intended. Okay, the back end is still going to need some work anyway, and I think even doing some work in the back end here is going to affect how this slots into position. I'd like to try to keep the frame head if I could, but going by universal fit, you know, well, Carmen Ghia, or a Thing has the same frame head, although a Thing has extra beam strengtheners on the ends. Type 3 has frame horns that come out wide with a big void in between. Now, I don't know if they'll fit between the span. I'll get up underneath Ruby and take some measurements, but again, I'd like this to be a universal platform. This chassis could fit anything on it. And if I do use this as a Type 1 floor pan template, this could be the unit that anybody could fit onto, with exception of Type 3. Type 3 would need its own, of course. But if I were to use a Type 3, the rear frame horns and all the rear suspension and stuff unbolts, which means it would probably fit even easier because the back is a slam dunk, sans the body mount bolts, all this stuff where the body mounts. On a Type 3 it'll be in slightly different areas. But again, something very similar. I could build a small frame or something that bolts to this frame, I guess I'd call it a subframe, that would tie the body and the chassis together in the rear. Looking at what I've got here, this should work out pretty good. Now, I can use riv nuts and space them out the same as they are spaced out on a Beetle floor pan to heater channel where the bolts bolt the body on. I can space them out the same way. And that allows me to bolt the floor pan down to the chassis. I would still use whatever Beetle pan, Ghia pan, Thing pan, Type 3 pan, you know, whatever it is I end up putting on this in the end, and make it fit accordingly with a bunch of riv nuts through there, bolt it down. I'll use the same bolts and the same body seal to run along the frame and get everything plugged in. Again, this is if I use Volkswagen stuff. But what I just did to that frame allows me to do that. These are things that have never been done before. This is a conversion. It hasn't been done as I'm doing it. This is going to be the Duckman method. I had to replace a bunch of metal in the front here anyway, so this patching and repairing and modification really wasn't that hard because that needed to be done anyway. There's a bunch of metal that needed to be cut out, so that worked. What I did worked. And I'm quite happy with what we've got. This is something, man. This is really something. I'm getting all excited for this thing all over again. Every time I do a little thing to this and things start fitting together a little better, I get all excited. But just look at that. Just look. See that? The frame head just fits right in there. And if I really wanted to go nuts, I probably could use the same axle beam bolts and a set of clamps to just make something, or even cut them off of another old junky beam that I have in the yard. In fact, I do have a beam that needs to be cut up. Put them on there, maybe even weld them to this beam, run the bolts in, and that makes the front end stiff. So there's a little area over here that I was concerned with might be a little weak, which I reinforced the crap out of it. It should be just fine. All this gets tied together, so that's irrelevant anyway, because it's going to be strong again. Well, this is good. This is good. And some of the people that are screaming, "Oh, Duckman, your project is pointless. Why the hell are you doing it?" Well, the bus chassis, bus suspension, bus everything is so much bigger, taller, tougher, more durable than anything you find on a Beetle, on a Thing, Carnegie, anything else. So what this allows me to do is build a big off-road vehicle, essentially, for free. Because I don't have to buy a whole bunch of stuff. I don't have to lift the front of the car. I don't have to get a modified beam. I don't have to get raised thing spindles. I don't have to do any of that. Although I am going to get some kind of trailing arms for the back here. I don't know what yet. I'm sure somebody's screaming, "Get a 3x3, you know." Okay, sure, maybe. We'll see. That's probably going to be one of the next steps. I'll hit deck lid Don up for a couple of trailing arms and some trailing arm bolts. I'll get the pivots and I'll get them welded into place. And we'll see if I can get at least the arms started, because I want to take that swing axle transmission out. And I'm going to need to have it out. The only reason I have it in, of course, is because if I pull it out, the whole rear end collapses. Because the transmission actually is an active suspension component, believe it or not. That's the way these swing axles work. The later IRS ones do not. The transmission is separate from all that. Anyway, all right, well, that's where we're at. So I guess we're going to be wrapping it up for the day. It's Taco Tuesday once again, guys. And that means I'm going to meet up with Wild Bill, and we're going to be sucking some tacos. I might even have a hamburger tonight. The hamburgers over at that Mexican place, man. Miguel's here in Pensacola. If you head over there, you gotta get one of the burgers. It's one of the best burgers I think I've ever had in my life. It's just, oh wow. It's incredible. Anyway, I gotta do a little more grinding up there, a little more filling in a couple spots that I missed. Those welds are actually really friggin' ugly, but I went over welds kind of thing. There was some welds that just, when I was cutting and fitting this stuff, I made some mistakes. And that means I needed to do a lot more welding than I would have otherwise. But that's the wonderful thing about metal. You can grow it. You can't do that with wood. You cut wood too short, you're f***ed. You cut metal too short, well, you can use your welder and you can bridge it and, you know, make it work. But anyway, that's where we're at. So licky like you guys, comment and subscribe. Don't forget to plug that dingle bell so you get updates every time I upload a video. Check out Doug Shit down there for all of my different social media links. And we'll see you guys next time. Hopefully with another exciting update as to what we're doing next. And I think next, as I said, it's going to be something in the back here. And tech sessions coming up, by the way. And that's going to give me the opportunity to talk to deck lid Don to get some more parts. So anyway, I'll hit him up this week too and see if he's got what I need. Maybe two of us can arrange something. Well, everybody, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.